Please, President Trump. Please, please, I hope you have a plan. I just wanted to come on here and say I'm sorry. I voted for him and I thought he was going to make things better for folks like us.
Don't cut my stamps off! You hear me? They said I gotta work 40 hours to get any help. I got 2 kids at home and a fridge that's empty. What am I supposed to do, huh? That's why the truck full. That's why I took it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let's jump right into today's wide political roller coaster. Because trust me, this one's mix of irony, right? Regret and a dash of we didn't see that coming. So here's the scene. Across the country, some of Trump's most loyal MAGA supporters are in tears, literally because their food stamps and government assistance have stopped coming right through as the shutdown drags on. And the heartbreaking twist is these are the same folks who shouted, "Make America Great Again," and proudly pulled the lever for the man who's now holding their benefits hostage. You can write a better political drama if you tried.
A post is going viral after a MAGA mom who's on SNAP benefits called out her family for not lending her money for groceries. In this Facebook post, this mom said that her husband is on the GI Bill and she has 2 kids. She continues by saying she's at her wit's end and she's overwhelmed and doesn't know what to do. She said that she asked her husband's mom, and the mom responded with, "You voted for this." Now, of course, I had to read through the comment section on this post, and the comments varied. In reading the comment section of the post, it looked like people were split. Some who have great relationships with their family in light of different political stances said they would help, while others said they've had complete falling outs with those family members and they would not help. What are your thoughts? If you were in this same situation, would you help this family member and use it as a teaching moment about the impact of politics on people's lives? Or would you say, FAFO, too bad, so sad?
And, you know, largely, when you talk about SNAP, you're talking about largely Democrats. But I'm president. I want to help everybody. I want to help Democrats and Republicans. But when you're talking about SNAP, if you look, it's largely Democrats. They're hurting their own people. Thank you very much, everybody.
So that was Donald Trump trying to pass the buck on his shutdown and blame the Democrats and say that they are hurting their own voters by not allowing SNAP to go out, when the truth is this is Donald Trump's shutdown. He controls the government. And like he said in the past, a government shutdown would be the fault of the president. So I'm always going to circle back to that. But there's so much wrong with what he said right there, because so many red states across this country depend on SNAP benefits. 690,000, I believe it is, here in Tennessee depend on it. And when I say that, I'm not talking about people who are mooching the system or trying to screw people over. That's how that the MAGA and the Republicans have always tried to spin it, that it's lazy people mooching off the system. That's not the case at all. In so many cases, this is working people who are working sometimes 2 to 3 jobs and doing every side hustle they can possibly do, and they still can't get ahead enough in the world to make ends meet. And so they turn to a little bit of government assistance. Some people are lucky enough, and I kind of say that sarcastically, some people are, you know, able to get $187 a month, and then there's some people out there it gets like $20. And how far in the world would that take you these days? It sure as hell wouldn't go very far. But they're going to continue to try to blame this on Democrats and duck and dodge any and all responsibility. And I do not understand how Mike Johnson gets off saying that he's tired. I don't know exactly what it is that he's doing that's causing him to be so tired, because he ain't doing a damn thing. And I also don't understand, you know, when he says that he's been up at night, he can't sleep. I really don't think it's over the government being shut down. I believe if old Moses Mike will be honest with us, there's a whole lot that's running through his conscience right now, and he's probably having a hard time sleeping at night for reasons that's in those Epstein files, but that's another story. I want to play this clip right here of attorney Brooke Rollins talking, and she just lays the blame on the government. She tells the truth. And we'll watch this clip, and then we'll watch how quickly Mike Johnson ain't having it.
I mean, because reality is setting in for a lot of people this weekend. So what do you say to the millions of people who stand to lose their food stamp benefits? What should they do?
My message to America is first, the fact that your government is failing you right now. That poverty is not red or blue. It is not a Republican or Democrat issue. It doesn't matter who you voted for or even if you voted. That if you are in a position where you can't feed your family and you're relying on that $187 a month for an average family in the SNAP program, that we have failed you.
If you are actively finding joy in MAGA not being able to access food because of SNAP being cut, or actively try to prevent them from accessing food, like I've seen people say to me in my video comments, I need you to understand that there's some elements of fighting for human rights that you do not quite understand. Fighting for human rights is not about the person that you are fighting it for. At its most fundamental level, you do not have to like the people. They do not have to be good people for you to center human rights and the fact that it needs to apply to everyone. Everyone, even the ones that are inhumane themselves. You want to know why? If we do not keep it applicable to everyone, we are liable to fall down the same slope as them. When you decide that you are the one that can decide who deserves humane treatment and who doesn't, that is not good. Even if you believe your judgment is better than theirs. No one deserves to go hungry, okay? It is a basic human right. I know, trust me, I'm a black woman. There's a lot of ways that I personally am being targeted by this administration. I'm frustrated and angry and rage on a daily basis. They don't deserve to starve. Okay? That is not what we're doing here, y'all. There's an abuse of fuck around and find out that I need us to really get a grip and really think about what is actually happening here. When we are talking about basic human rights, that applies to everyone. That is what it means to fight for human rights. Because if it is allowed to not be allowed to one group of people or one person, that means it can happen to everyone. When I say I'm fighting for human rights for everyone, I quite literally mean that, even if they fucking hate my guts. So no, I will not sit here and let y'all tell me that you would quite literally go out of your way to make sure that MAGA could not eat. What is wrong with y'all? No, I understand feeling a deep rage that you cannot see past, okay? Trust me. I've had like damn near a decade to sit with this shit, okay? I get it. But when I say that you need to recognize where you are at emotionally, and if you are not in the place where you can truly, without any kind of discrimination, fight for people's human rights, then you need to take a step back so you do not project onto the people around you. It is not safe to do that. And we will not get past this if you cannot sit with that and work through the emotions that come with having to advocate for everyone, okay? We're not doing this, y'all. We're not falling down some kind of pipeline because you are angry and haven't had a chance to sit and process that. I get it, y'all. I really do. But I need you all to sit and think about what it is that you are saying you are okay with doing. Think about that. This is not just online things that we're talking about here. Yes, I know that there are people online talking about how EBT is like a thing that people need to just get a job. I know what they're saying. Okay, trust me, it pisses me off every time I see a toast lady pop up. People deserve to eat, okay? I don't want to see another comment like that.
Y'all are about to start going hungry real soon, just a few days here. And I was wondering why you wanted to do that to yourself, and it ain't just white rural America. It's going to happen to a lot of people, and that's the thing. It's bad for everybody. And I was just wondering, why did you want to do that? It's like 42 million people or something like that rely on those SNAP benefits, feed their kids and stuff. And that's kind of the idea that we had here on the left was like, you know what we'll do? We can just take a little bit of our money, just a little bit of it, and we can pull it all together, buy food and medicine and stuff for people that can't afford it. And we're like, that right there seems like the American thing to do. And we're like, that is the American thing to do. Let's do that. Let's do it, because it ain't going to hurt us none to have a few of our dollars come out of our paychecks and feed millions of people. We're like, that sounds like a good idea. And y'all are like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want my tax dollars going to feed me. you know? And we're like, what's wrong with you? And you're like, well, I want to starve all the kids and stuff. That's what I want to do. I want to starve me and all the kids and stuff, because if you pay them tax dollars out there to feed us and our kids, you're also going to be feeding black people's kids and stuff and brown people's kids, and we want them to starve. You know, we want to feed our kids, but we want them to starve. And if you're going to feed them too, well, I'll be damned. I'm going to starve too. I'm going to starve my kids too, is what I'm going to do. See, I notice what you do is you get there and complain about the way the food stamps work. And you're like, well, I seen this woman. She come in there with some fixed up fingernails and her hair did and stuff. Well, if she can afford to have fixed up fingernails and her hair did, then she don't need to be on them food stamps, the ones that I'm getting. You know, I see y'all saying that all the time, and you don't know nothing about that woman's life whenever you say that. But my thing is whenever you look into it, but I know you can't do that because your brains are broken because you watch the Fox Fake Newses and stuff. Man, you should stop doing that now. We told you they lied to you, and they got sued for nearly $1 billion for lying to you, and you're like, well, I need some more of that. I need some more of them lies. But when you look into it, there's 1.3% of actual people that are out there committing fraud, lying about their income and all this different things that it takes to qualify for it. 1.3%, you know? Well, the thing is you're 99% angry at those people for that right there, rather than being 98.7% happy that people's tax dollars are going to make people survive, children and stuff, keep them fed and stuff. You take all of your energy and you put it towards anger against 1.3% of the people that might be committing some fraud, you know, while you're receiving benefits. And that don't make no sense right there. So anyway, I was just wanting to let you know that while this is going on and stuff, and you ain't receiving your SNAP benefits, because, you know, rural America does receive, you know, 1 in 4 of you, 25% of you out there, you live off federal funds. It's how you stay out there in rural America. It keeps you afloat there, those federal dollars do. But anyway, while you ain't getting your SNAP benefits and stuff, because this government shutdown, it's not the Schumer shutdown. I want to have to remind you of that again. It's not the Democrats shutting it down, because you can tell by the way that it is, because the Republicans have control of all of the government, you know. And if Republicans really wanted to pass their own budget, they could just do it with their own vote, you know, since they have the majority. See, the problem is there's even Republicans that don't want to vote for that. You know, they don't want their name attached to something that strips $1.5 trillion away from you and other poor people, and does away with their Medicaids and closes down their hospitals and jacks up their insurance costs. See, because it ain't just the ACA that's going to get jacked up. What the Affordable Care Act actually did was lowered people's insurance premiums across the board. Even your private insurance premiums were lowered because of the ACA, because it was allowing more money to go into the pool, okay? And I can't even begin to try to describe to you how that works. But anyway, everybody's health insurance premium is going to go up. This thing expires. Anyway, so what I'm telling you is, if the Republicans really wanted to pass their own legislation, they could just have a vote right there and lift the filibuster, which would then just require a simple majority to pass their own damn budget. They could do that, but see, they don't have the votes to do that either, because there's people in their own party that don't want to support their own bill, so they're telling you Democrats are shutting down the government. Hey, the Democrats don't have to vote to take away $1.5 trillion from you and give it to billionaires, okay? They don't have to do that. The Republicans are the ones that are doing that and trying to convince you Democrats want to shut the government down. Oh, and by the way, let's go ahead and talk about this too. The Fox Fake News is telling you that the Democrats refused to vote to pass to pay the troops and to pay essential workers. The Democrats voted no on it. Now, here's what really happened, and you wouldn't know that because you drink out of a toilet bowl of news. What really happened there was Republicans tried to pass this thing to pay the troops and essential workers, but attached to that was also given this Russell Vogt there, one of the architects of Project 2025, just endless power to fire everybody he wants to so that he can further enact his Project 2025. And the Democrats said, hell no, we're not giving this dude that much power just to fire anybody he wants to. We're not making this dude a king along with that big orange bloated syphilis up Adderall riddled idiot that we already got. Here's our own legislation that's just clean legislation that says, here you go, we're paying the troops and the essential workers with nothing else attached to it, and the Republicans wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Okay? That's what actually happened. Okay? So the Democrats actually did want to pay all them people, and Republicans are the ones that said no. All right? So let's keep everything straight here in your empty brain buckets, all right? It's Democrats trying to save on you and your kids and trying to save your well-being out there in white rural America, where you're stuck at for some reason, while you're hating on cities for receiving the same benefits that you're receiving, okay? So let's go ahead and get all that cleared up in your empty brain buckets and stay off the Fox Fake News so you can stop being brainwashed so damn much, all right?
Do you ever notice karma always shows up wearing a red hat? Because this is that. A MAGA mom is melting down online after realizing her Make America Great Again vote came with an expiration date on her groceries. Sis is on Snap and Wick, crying that she can't afford baby formula, rent, or food. And her own mother told her, "We voted for this." I mean, how do you clap back to the truth? She's typing paragraphs about how anxious she is, how the shutdown hit her husband's GI Bill, and how her kids are hungry. Meanwhile, the rest of us are watching this in 4K like, girl, weren't you cheering when others were struggling? Now she's mad that her family won't lend her grocery money. The same family that told everyone else to work harder and stop depending on handouts. Funny how bootstraps snap when it's your turn to pull. And the internet is roasting her, and rightfully so. Because every election, people like her vote against their own interests. And when the consequences finally hit home, suddenly, we're struggling. And it's not fair. This is called fuck around and find out, sweetheart. What's unfair is pretending you're above every system you rely on until it stops serving you. MAGA said they didn't want to help people, and now they don't. Enjoy the America you built.
You know, I myself am guilty of being one of those people who keep saying, well, this new thing happened. Is MAGA gonna get it yet? Are the Republican voters finally gonna wake up and see what they're stepping in? And while a few of them do seem to trickle away as time goes by, the majority of them just keep making excuses. The most recent thing is with these SNAP benefits that Trump is taking away from people. He told the Republicans not to negotiate with Democrats. So the Republicans let the government shut down on purpose so Trump could continue cutting a bunch of benefits and firing thousands of people pretty much with no consequence. But now we simultaneously have people on the right who are making videos going, oh no, all these people can't get you free money, oh no. And the other half going, where are my food stamps? We keep talking about the snake eating its own tail, but it's more like a hydra with tons of heads where they each keep trying to eat each other. But it is still so funny to me that when Trump takes away benefits from poor people, the poor people will still support him and other billionaires. Just like when Trump takes away their Social Security and their Medicare, they make excuses for him and then they go, why are the Democrats taking away my Medicare? It's just like the ones who are always complaining about the government and people getting handouts are always the ones complaining that they haven't gotten their Social Security check yet.
And now Trump and his administration are changing the rules to be eligible for disability, which is mostly going to affect his own voters in red states.
This is how fucking clueless they are. And yet every single time the Republicans screw these people over, they continue to vote them back into office. And I will never fucking understand that.
So the US government shutdown, now the longest in modern history, is leaving millions of Americans without crucial aid. And that includes the SNAP program, better known as food stamps. Across rural America, rural communities and small towns, grocery shelves are getting lighter. Refrigerators are getting emptier. And wallets, well, they were already thin to begin with. But here is, the twist that's making social media lighter. Many of the people being interviewed, the ones now panicking about how to feed their families, are the same ones who spent the last election season chanting "Drain the Swamp" and celebrating Trump's tough love policies. Now, they're realizing that tough love sometimes, hits a little too close to home. One woman from Kentucky said, "We didn't vote for this. We just wanted him to fix the border and stop wasteful spending, not cut off food for our kids." And honestly, that sums up the confusion many of these voters are feeling. Because the promises sounded great on paper, but in reality, government shutdowns don't just affect politicians in Washington. They hit the working class first, especially the very people who believed Trump was fighting for them. It's almost poetic, isn't it? For years, MAGA rhetoric painted food stamp users as freeloaders or lazy people living off the system, right? Yet, when the shutdown hits, it turns out many of those same supporters depend on those exact benefits to get by. Suddenly, food stamps and socialism, their survival, hard lesson though. And now they're realizing that the swamp plan seems to have drained their pantry first. Meanwhile, the president is on Truth Social or maybe Mar-a-Lago's golf course, blaming Democrats for the shutdown, insisting he's fighting for the people. But those people standing in line at the grocery stores trying to explain to their kids why the card isn't working. That's a hard message to swallow. You know what's really wild? Some of those same voters are still saying we support Trump, but he needs to fix this. It's like being in a bad relationship and still saying he will change. I know he will. He's not changing. This is the playbook. Beyond the politics, the ripple effects are serious. Small town grocery stores that rely heavily on SNAP customers are losing sales. Food banks are overwhelmed. And rural America, the heart of Trump country, is being squeezed the hardest. This isn't just about food stamps, it's about economic pain spreading through the very communities that believed they were finally being heard in Washington. Instead, they are finding out what America First really means when policies are made without empathy for struggling class. Yeah, it's a wake-up call. One that shows how political loyalty doesn't pay your bills or feed your kids when the government stops functioning. And it's also exposing something deeper, a lack of understanding about how interconnected government programs actually are. You just, shut it all down and expect life to keep going smoothly. Someone always gets hurt, and it's really or rarely the billionaires. It's not always the billionaires. We can always tell who gets hurt the most, right? So here we are, another chapter in America's ongoing saga of political irony. MAGA voters are crying out, we didn't vote for this. But the uncomfortable truth is, yes, you did. You voted for a man who said he would break Washington. And now, as the gears grind to a halt, you're finding out what breaking Washington really feels like when your dinner table's empty. Maybe, just maybe, this moment will make some people look beyond the slogans, beyond the hearts, and start asking tougher questions about what real leadership looks like. So, what do you think, guys? Tell me your thoughts. Do you feel any sympathy for these MAGA voters losing their benefits, or do you see it as a hard lesson in cause and effect? Or is this the moment when some Trump voters finally start to question their loyalty? And bigger picture, how long can America keep surviving these political shutdowns before the people say enough? Tell me your thoughts. Drop your thoughts below in the comment section, because I know this one's going to spark some heated debate. So thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, and please, guys, subscribe. Subscribe for more honest takes on the stories shaking up America. Until next time, stay informed, stay sharp. And remember, when the government shut down, it's the people who pay the price first. Until next time, credit belongs to original creators. Subscribe.